Fencer Oh Sang-uk has won South Korea's first gold medal at the Paris Olympics after defeating Faris Ferjani of Tunisia in the men's individual saber final.
한국 남자 펜싱의 오상욱 선수가 2024 파리올림픽 남자 사브르 개인전 결승에서 튀니지 선수 파레즈 파르자니를 꺾고 대한민국 선수단의 첫 금메달을 안겼습니다. All right, tell us more.
Yeah, it was Korea's first gold medal in
this
Paris.
Olympics, yeah.
Yeah. And it was for the men's individual saber fencing. So he won after defeating Faris Ferjani of Tunisia 15-11 at the finals, which was held at the Grand Palais in Paris. So with the win, Oh becomes the first South Korean man to win an individual saber gold in the Olympics since Kim Jong-wan had won 2 bronze medals in the discipline, each in Rio de Janeiro in 2016 and Tokyo in 2021. And Oh has now won an individual gold medal in all 4 major competitions for Asian fencers, the Olympics, the Asian Games, the World Championships, and the Asian Championships. So they're calling it a Grand Slam.
Right.
And they say that the win was actually his redemption because he crashed out of the individual competition at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics in the quarterfinals, despite entering the tournament ranking number 1 in the world.
A big individual victory for
Yep,
him then
yep.
as well. All right, if you defeat someone, what does that mean?
Yeah, if you defeat someone, it means you win over someone or have a victory over someone in a battle, or it could be like a sports competition or any sort of contest. So it means to overcome or beat.
네, defeat라는 게 물리치다라는 뜻이 있는데요. 여기서는 튀니지의 선수를 꺾고라는 의미로 defeating the Faris Ferjani of Tunisia 이렇게 얘기를 하고 있습니다. 개인전 할 때 individual이라는 단어를 쓰죠.
Right. So there's individual matches and then there's group matches. So individual, it just means one person, a single human being, as being distinct from a group, class, or family.
네, 개인전 하면은 지금 설명해 주신 대로 individual match라고 하면 되고 이제 그룹으로 하는 단체전 같은 경우에는 group match라고 하면 됩니다. 자, 다시 한번 헤드라인 읽어볼게요. Fencer Oh Sang-uk has won South Korea's first gold medal at the Paris Olympics after defeating Faris Ferjani of Tunisia in the men's individual saber final. 또 참고로 말씀드리자면은 South Korea, North Korea 이런 명칭들은 우리가 흔히 쓰는 그리고 이제 일반적으로 뉴스에서도 쓰는 명칭이고요. 조금 전에 말씀드린 공식 명칭, 정식 명칭은 또 따로 있습니다. Let's move on to the next headline.
The average prices of gasoline and diesel at gas stations nationwide rose for the 5th consecutive week last week, according to the Korea National Oil Corporation.
한국석유공사에 따르면 지난주 전국 주유소 휘발유와 경유 가격이 5주 연속 오름세를 이어갔습니다. It's getting more expensive to fill up the car.
It is. And you might have noticed when you went to your local gas station. So this is according to the Korea National Oil Corporation's Oil Price Information System, which is called OPINET. They said that the average selling price of gasoline at gas stations across the country during the 4th week of July, so it was from July 21st to 25th, was 1,713.6 won per liter, and that was up 0.51 per liter from the previous week. And as we mentioned, it's been going up for the 5th consecutive week. And, you know, the prices are all different, but they said on average, the cheapest place that sold gas were the budget gas stations. Their average was slightly lower. The average price was 1,687.5 won per liter. And while this was going on, diesel fuel also saw an increase in prices for the 5th consecutive week as well. And it comes, I guess, despite international oil prices falling for the 3rd consecutive week this week. That was driven by hopes of an Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal and a stronger U.S. dollar. So I think we'll start to see that being reflected in the actual prices a little bit later on.
It does take time for South Korea to reflect what's happening in the Middle East. So this is as of Friday, last Friday, and so 5 weeks in a row. oil prices, or gas prices, I should say, have been going up here in Korea. But just yesterday, I went to a particular gas station in southern Seoul, and it was 1,881, I think,
Yeah.
per liter. Very expensive.
Yep.
자, 주유소 보겠습니다. gas station. 영국에서는 petrol station이라고
Yeah, it's a
하는데.
little different, right? Yeah. So I guess if you're using American English,
Yeah.
it's gas station. So it's an establishment that's beside a road that sells fuel for motor vehicles.
That's right. 여기서 gas는 gasoline을 줄인 거죠. 그래서 gas station 아니면 petrol station 전부 다 주유소라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 보통 주유소 가서 뭐 가득 채워주세요라고 한다면은
Yeah.
fill it up, please
Yeah.
이렇게
Yeah.
말하면 되겠죠. 근데 요즘은 다 셀프로
Yeah,
하긴
that's what
하지만.
I
예.
noticed. We always put in our old gas, which
Yeah.
is kind of funny because when I lived in the States, that was the norm.
Yeah, it was. And now it's, I think, the norm in Korea too. All right. Now let's look at the word nationwide.
Nationwide. So if something is going on nationwide, it means it's going on across the country. So it means extending or reaching throughout a whole nation.
네. 전국적으로 어떻다라고 할 때 nationwide라고 하면 되겠죠. 전 세계적으로 할 때는 worldwide 하는 것처럼요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The average prices of gasoline and diesel at gas stations nationwide rose for the fifth consecutive week last week, according to the Korea National Oil Corporation.
A heat wave blanketing Iran has forced authorities to cut operating hours at various facilities and order all government and commercial institutions to close, with more than 200 people seeking treatment for heat stroke.
폭염이 지속되는 이란에서 온열 질환으로 도움을 요청한 환자가 200여 명에 이르고 영업시간이 단축되는 가운데 전국 관공서와 상점에 휴업 명령이 내려졌습니다. Really, really hot right now in Iran, isn't it?
Yeah, so according to weather reports, they say the temperatures ranged from 37 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius in the capital Tehran, and it exceeded 45 degrees Celsius in 10 Iranian provinces over the weekend, with the highest temperature of 49.7 degrees Celsius, and that was recorded in a city called Delgan. It's a southeastern city. So banks, offices, public institutions across the country or nationwide they were ordered to close on Sunday
Yeah.
to protect people's health and conserve energy. And so only emergency services and medical agencies would be in operation. And they also cut working hours on Saturday in a lot of the provinces there because, of course, of the sweltering heat. They've told people to stay indoors until 5 p.m. And because of this heat, the high temperatures, 225 people have sought medical help for heat stroke, and a lot of them had been admitted to the hospital. But they do say that a drop in temperature is expected on Monday, so we'll have to see. Yeah.
네, 그렇군요. 현지 시간으로 월요일이면은 그래도 기온이 조금 떨어질 것으로 예상이 된다고 하지만 지난 주말에는 전국적으로 이란에서는 40도 안팎의 기온이 기록이 됐습니다. 가장 높은 곳은 거의 50도에 가까운 기온이 기록이 되면서
Yep.
온열 질환자가 뭐 당연히 많이 나왔으리라 예상이 되는데 200여 명이나 됐다니 와 정말 네 얼마나 더운지 감이 잘 안 될 정도예요, 사실은.
I've
네.
experienced 40 degrees Celsius heat.
40 degrees is already
it's
really
crazy
hot.
hot.
Yeah.
But when there is not much humidity, it's, I think, bearable. But if
True.
it's humid and hot, then, I don't know. But 50 degrees is unheard of. Yeah.
맞아요. 자, 그래서 일단은 많은 상점이 영업 시간을 줄이게 됐습니다. 단축하게 됐는데요. 그때 영업 시간이라는 단어 보겠습니다.
Yep.
Operating hours.
Operating hours. So we can also say opening hours. It's the times when a business such as a bar, restaurant, shop, bank, etc. is open for people to use.
그래요. Operating hours, opening hours. office hours도 가능할 것 같아요. 이제 어떤 매장이냐에 따라서. 그다음에는 이제 heat stroke로 고생하는 환자들이 참 많았다. What's a heat stroke?
Right. A heat stroke is a life-threatening condition that happens when your body temperature rises above 40 degrees.
온열 질환을 얘기합니다. 그래서 이 온열 질환으로 도움을 요청한 환자가 200여 명에 이른다고 하는데요. 그중에 일부는 실제로 병원에 실려가기도 했다라고 합니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. A heat wave blanketing Iran has forced authorities to cut operating hours at various facilities and order all government and commercial institutions to close, with more than 200 people seeking treatment for heat stroke. Well, let's move on to the next headline.
The former director of a factory in China that was forced to close 20 years ago due to the economic situation has reached out to some 400 former employees to share a payout of 8 million won, or roughly 1.5 billion won.
네. 자, 20년 전에 경제난으로 폐업한 중국의 한 회사 대표가 보상금 800만 위안, 우리 돈으로 약 15억 원을 받자 과거 함께 일했던 직원 400여 명에게 나눠줘 화제입니다. So it took a long time for the payout to actually come to fruition. But nonetheless, I believe last year, the owner of this factory was paid a hefty sum of money.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So his name is Guo Chongzi. He's 70 years old. He's from Chongqing. And he is the former director of the Chongqing General Valve factory. And like we mentioned, it took 20 years or whatever, but it was established back in 1971. And they had about 400 people working there at its peak.
Right.
But the economic situation worsened, so they had to close it in 2000, and their building was demolished in 2018 as part of the city's municipal land acquisition plan. So as you mentioned, last year in March, he received 7.7 million yuan in compensation for the demolished factory building, and he believed that every former employee, so we mentioned at its peak, they had about 400 people working there. So they deserve at least a little bit of this compensation money, whether they were former employees, if they're retired, even if they're dead, deserved. He said that they all deserved a share.
Right.
So it must have been quite a headache, but they had to they're still trying to find people who used to work there. They said that they found 406 employees, but 35 individuals still are not accounted for. So they are contacting media outlets trying to find these people to, give out this a little bit of the share.
I believe it was 406 employees altogether, and they have contacted 371.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's about 30-something individuals that are still, they're still on the hunt for.
그래요. 이게 충칭 지역입니다. 거기에서 이제 2018년에 문을 닫았던 폐업했던 공장 회사예요. 그때 경제적인 상황 때문에 어쩔 수 없이 폐업을 했는데 바로 작년에 2023년에 드디어 보상금이 나왔습니다. 좀 오래 걸렸죠. 한 20년 어떻게 되나요? 2018년에 문을 닫았고 2023 그러면 20년까지는 아니지만 네. 그래도 이제 오랫동안 이제 기다린 끝에 보상금이 나왔는데 그래서 이 15억 원을 어떻게 할 것인가 많은 회의와 논의 끝에 이렇게 배분하기로 했답니다. 공장이 문을 닫을 당시에 일하고 있었던 사람들에게 65%의 이 돈을 주고 그 전에 뭐 이런저런 이유로 그만뒀을 수도 있는데 그래도 그 전에 함께했던 직원들에게는 이 35%의 이 돈을 배분하기로 결정했다고 하고요.
And they said that they further divided this by each person's time at the factory. So how much time they spent working there. So quite a headache. I'm sure it was very stressful.
네, 그렇습니다. 2018년도에는 철거가 됐고 아마 그 전에 문을 닫기는 했나 보네요. 네. 요 타임라인이 제가 조금 헷갈렸었는데.
I think they closed in 2000 and then the factory
got
was
it.
demolished in 2018.
그랬구나.
Yeah.
공장이 문 닫은 거는
Yeah.
2000년이고
Yeah.
그래서 20년 전이군요.
Yeah.
그렇지만 그 건물이 그냥 폐건물로 계속 서 있다가 2018년도에 아예 철거가 됐다고 합니다. 그리고 철거에 대한 보상금이 작년에 드디어 이렇게 나오게 된 거군요.
Right.
네. 자, so the owner of this factory, this company, reached out to his former employees.
Right, right. So when you reach out to someone, you're trying to communicate with them or get in touch with them. So it means to seek to establish communication with someone with the aim of offering or obtaining assistance or cooperation.
reach out라는 거는 이제 손을 뻗어서 뭔가를 잡다라는 뜻이 원래는 있어요. 여기서는 연락을 취하다라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 사실 20년 전에 그만둔 직원들이기 때문에 연락을 하기가 참 쉽지 않았을 텐데.
What would you start with? Their phone
그러니까요.
numbers might be different.
맞아요.
Yeah, and as you know, they mentioned a lot of them were dead as well.
맞아요.
So, yeah.
지금 또 살아계시지 않은 분들도 계시대요. 그러다 보니까 이제 유족에게 연락을 해야 되는 그런 복잡한 상황인데 아직까지도 한 35명의 직원은 연락이 닿지 않고 있지만 계속 끝까지 노력할 거랍니다. 그래서 406명의 전 직원 중에 371명에게는 돈을 지급했다고 합니다. He reached out and he distributed the payout. What's a payout?
A payout is a large payment of money, especially as compensation or a dividend. So it's a sum of money that is to be paid to someone.
그래요. 여기서 말하는 payout는 한 단어고요. 보상금이란 뜻입니다. P-A-Y-O-U-T, a payout. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The former director of a factory in China that was forced to close 20 years ago due to the economic situation has reached out to some 400 former employees to share a payout of 8 million yuan, or roughly 1.5 billion won. Let's move on to the final headline.
NASA's Perseverance rover has discovered a reddish rock with leopard spots on Mars that could indicate the planet may have hosted microbial life billions of years ago.
미국 항공우주국 나사의 탐사선인 Perseverance 로버가 화성 탐사 중 수십억 년 전에 미생물이 살았던 흔적인 것으로 추정되는 암석을 발견했습니다. Okay, so Perseverance has found a special rock on Mars. Tell us more.
Right. So it's nicknamed Cheava Falls by the team, the research team. And it's an arrowhead-shaped rock that contains fascinating traits that may bear on the question of whether Mars was home to microscopic life in the distant past. So analysis by instruments on the rover, they say that the rock possesses qualities that fit the definition of a possible indicator of ancient life. And when we're talking about leopard spots, it's kind of like a black halo. And they say that it contains like iron and phosphate. And on Earth, these types of features in rocks are often associated with the fossilized record of microbes living in the subsurface. So that's why they're saying, there's reactions that release these chemicals. It could have caused the black halos to form. And that's why they're assuming that maybe these microbes did exist. The microbes were alive a very long time ago, though.
그래요. 지금 암석에다가 별명을 하나 붙여줬네요. 체아바 폭포, 체아바 Falls라는 이름을 붙여줬고 거기에는 마치 그 표범의 얼룩무늬가 있듯이 여기저기 얼룩처럼 보이는 이것도 역시 뭐 그 암석에 붙어 있는 덩어리들이겠죠.
Yeah.
이걸 좀 분석을 해보니까 일단은 추정입니다만 아마 수십억 년 전에 미생물이 여기 살아서 남게 된 흔적이 바로 요 얼룩무늬일 것이다. 이겁니다. 자, 그러면은 these spots indicate that something was living there billions of years ago.
Right, right. So when something is indicated, it means it's showed. So the definition would be point out or show or to make clear in another way.
네. 무엇을 보여준다, 나타낸다, indicate. 우리 운전할 때요. 오른쪽으로 갈 때는 오른쪽 깜빡이, 방향지시등 키죠? 그걸 영어로는 indicator 아니면 blinker라고 합니다.
Yep.
그래서 보여주는 거예요. 내가 지금 오른쪽으로 간다, 왼쪽으로 간다. microbial life는 뭐죠?
Microbial life. So microbial means relating to microbes or very small living things. And of course, life here, it means that it's alive. So microbial life is, the life, it means it's the condition that, of course, distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter. They can grow, they can reproduce, have some sort of functional activity.
네, microbial이라는 게 이제 미생물의라는 뜻이 있어서 microbial life는 미생물 그 생명이라고 해야 될까요? 미생물이 살았다는 것을 보여준다는 뜻입니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. NASA's Perseverance rover has discovered a reddish rock with leopard spots on Mars that could indicate the planet may have hosted microbial life hundreds of years ago.
South Korea's total population grew by around 80,000 last year, rebounding for the first time since 2021 on the back of a growing number of foreigners.
지난해 우리나라 총인구는 외국인 증가에 힘입어 2021년 이후 처음 반등하며 약 8만 명이 증가했습니다. All right, give us the figures then.
Okay, well, the big figure is 51.77 million
Okay.
as of November 1st last year, according to Statistics Korea, up by 0.2% or about 82,000 people. It's the first on-year increase we've had in 3 years. Back in 2022, we had the first on-year population decline. That slid by another 0.1% the next year. So I think everyone's breathing a sigh of relief that the population is back up again. And, well, we can thank the number of foreign residents because they've jumped 10.4% on year by 180,000 to 1.94 million.
자, 총 인구가 그러니까 5,177만 명으로 작년 기록이 됐습니다. 그런데 전반적으로 보면은 그 전년 대비 8만 2천 명이 늘었어요. 우리나라 인구가. 근데 그동안에 2021년 이후로는 계속 총 인구가 줄어드는 추세다가
네.
이렇게 반등한 것이 지금 얘기해 주신 대로 외국인 등록자가 더 많아졌기 때문이라고 합니다. 외국인은 작년 기준 18만 명이 아니죠. 맞나요? 네, 18만 명이 늘었습니다.
네, 맞습니다.
네, 그렇죠. 그런데 그 한국인, 그러니까 외국인이 아닌 내국인 같은 경우에는 10만 명이 줄었다고 하죠.
네.
So Koreans went down by around 100,000.
Yeah.
Foreigners went up 180,000.
Exactly. So the number of Korean nationals comes to 49.84 million, a drop of 0.2%.
아, 그렇군요. 네. 한국인은 10만 명이 줄어드는 반면 외국인은 18만 명이 늘었기 때문에 그래서 overall 전반적으로는 8만 명이 증가한 모습입니다.
Yeah, I'm happy to be in Korea.
Yes. 자, 그러면은 이 단어 볼게요. To rebound.
If you're a fan of basketball, you may be familiar with the rebound, when somebody goes to score a basket and it bounces off the backboard and then they catch the ball and try to score again. So a rebound is a bounce back. And when we use it in terms of figures, it means a figure dropped, but then it's gone back up again. So in this case, we're talking about the number of population, but we could be talking about sales figures or export-import figures. If it's rebounded, it means it's going back up again after coming down.
네, 반등을 한다라는 뜻이고요. 아마 농구에서 얘기하는 리바운드는 이제 공이 튕겨져서 다시 오는 거를 얘기하는 것 같아요. 데이터도 역시 마찬가지죠. 또 떨어졌다가 다시 올라오는 거니까. On the back of, what does that mean, Paul?
That means it's following something because of something. It's carrying on from something. In this case, why do we have an increase? Well, it's on the back of, it's because of an increase in the foreign population.
네, 무엇에 힘입어, 무엇에 뒤를 이어, on the back of 하고 나서 그 이유를 붙이면 됩니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. South Korea's total population grew by around 80,000 last year, rebounding for the first time since 2021 on the back of a growing number of foreigners. Now let's move on to the second headline.
China could experience the largest population decline any country has ever experienced, according to the United Nations, with a 50% chance China's population could return to a size comparable to the late 1950s by 2100.
중국이 세계 각국 중 역대 최대 규모의 인구 감소를 경험할 수 있으며 2100년에는 1950년대 수준으로 돌아갈 확률이 50%라는 유엔 조사 결과가 발표됐습니다. Okay, so we know that China's population is declining, but I guess we now know that it's declining at such a rate
Yes.
that they'll probably see the biggest decline ever.
Exactly. It doesn't look like there's going to be a rebound here, at
No.
least. This is from the United Nations 2024 World Population Prospects, which was published earlier this month. And it's looking like China could be facing 786 million people, a loss of that by 2100, which would be like going back to the 1950s in terms of population size. And we're seeing India coming up as the world's most populous country. It replaced China last year in April. We don't have the official statistics because of COVID. There were some issues about getting the data there, getting the census data. But China, along with, well, 1/5 of the countries around the world, Korea too, the UK too, is experiencing this ultra-low fertility. Their birth rate is 1.4, which is 1.4 live births per woman, adult woman over a lifetime.
아, 그렇군요. 1950년대 수준이 뭔지를 지금 설명을 해주셨는데 지금부터 2100년까지 약 7억 8천만 명 정도의 인구가 줄어들 수 있다고 합니다. 7억.
네.
It's unbelievable.
It's an astonishing number. It should be said that's not next year, though. This is by
No.
2100.
Yes, by the end of the decade.
By the end of the century.
Sorry. The end of the century, not
A
the
little
decade.
longer.
By the end of the century, thank you. We're talking about a population decline here.
Yes. Also, don't get confused about the word decline. It can mean to say no. But here, what we're looking at is a decrease.
Yes.
A decline is when a number goes down. It is not rebounding. It's not bouncing back up. It's going down. So a population decline is when the number of people living in an area goes down.
That's right. Population 인구 decline 감소가 되겠습니다. And this is comparable to that of China's population back in the 50s.
Yeah, meaning we can compare it, meaning that they are similar or the same. So if something is comparable to something else, A is comparable to B, there is a similarity of some sorts. It could be the amount, it could be the way they look, it could be what they do. Some people, like Sue, on the other hand, are incomparable. Nobody can compare.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
It's a lie.
Okay. 자, 그러니까 여기서 말하는 comparable to A라는 것은 A에 견줄만 하다라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 comparable to the 1950s, 1950년대와 견줄 만한, 비교할 수 있을 정도의 그런 수준으로 인구가 감소할 것이다. 이런 뜻이 되겠습니다. All right, here's the headline one more time. China could experience the largest population decline any country has ever experienced, according to the United Nations, with a 50% chance China's population could return to a size comparable to the late 1950s by 2100.
Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has won a third term, according to the country's electoral authority, despite several exit polls which had pointed to a decisive opposition win.
베네수엘라의 니콜라스 마두로 대통령이 야당의 압승을 점쳤던 여러 출구조사 결과에도 불구하고 3선에 성공했다고 베네수엘라 선거관리위원회가 발표했습니다. So this is a strange situation.
Yes.
It looks like two different parties, two different people are both claiming they won the presidential election.
Well, one is certainly saying they've won. The other is saying, have you really counted all the votes?
Yeah.
And this is the issue. We have this electoral authority, the National Electoral Council, who have said that Maduro got 51% of the vote, beating the main opposition candidate, Edmundo Gonzalez, who got 44%. The problem is the National Electoral Council is controlled by loyalists for Maduro.
Yep.
And the opposition have said that, they were not able to get all the tallies for the 30,000 polling booths. And so official tallies are meant to be coming. That said, these exit polls were showing Gonzalez was going to trounce Maduro, that it was going to be a big victory. We'll see what happens over the next few days. But certainly there were some Venezuelans who were saying, we're going to leave. Many have already left. And there are those saying, if Maduro gets in front of the 6 years, we don't want to be here. We want to go elsewhere. I think there's going to be a bit of turmoil until the election is sorted out. Certainly, we'll see what happens.
네, 그렇습니다. 지금 결과가 나왔다고 해요. 그럼에도 불구하고 계속 논란이 되고 있는 이유는 부정선거 아니냐 그런 의혹이 나오고 있습니다. 실제로 이제 출구조사 전 세계에서 주목을 하고 있었던 베네수엘라의 대선이었기 때문에 여러 기관에서 출구조사를 했단 말이죠. 그때는 마두로 대통령이 재선에 성공하지 못할 것이다 라는 게 거의 확실시 됐어요. 출구조사에서는. 그런데 이제 지금 이제 베네수엘라의 선거관리위원회에 의하면 압승을 했다는 거예요. 그러니까 너무나 차이가 많이 나는 거죠.
네.
이 출구조사와 실제 결과가. 그래서 여전히 부정 선거 의혹은 제기가 되고 있는 상황이고 그럼에도 불구하고 마두로 대통령이 또다시 6년 재임을 하게 될 것 같습니다. 3선에 성공을 했어요. Okay, so everything you said earlier on was according to the electoral authority.
Yes, electoral or electoral,
Toral, yeah.
both are okay, meaning to do with the election. And the authority is the organisation in charge.
Yes.
Usually the authority is going to be the official group in power. If a person is an authority, they might be someone who knows a lot about something, like an authority on the news or an authority on English language. But in this case, the authority is to do with whatever organisation is running, in this case, the election.
제가 정확하게 베네수엘라의 이 대선 결과 발표를 어떻게 하는지는 모르지만 이 뉴스 기사로 미루어 짐작하건대 정확한 숫자가 발표 안 됐다고 하거든요. 그런데 사실 이제 그 우승을 할 것으로 앞서서 점쳐졌었던 곤잘레스 후보가 70%의 득표율로 우승을 할 것으로 예상을 했는데 정반대의 그런 결과가 나왔잖아요. 근데 이제 지금 뭐 정확히 몇 표, 뭐 몇 명 이렇게 해서 우승을 한 것인지 이거는 발표가 안 됐다고는 하나 3선에 성공했다. 이렇게는 지금 선거관리위원회에서 발표를 했다고 합니다. 이 선거관리위원회가 영어로는 Electoral Authority라는 것이죠. And it looked like it was going to be a decisive win for Gonzalez.
Yes, and if it had been a decisive win, it would have been a definite win.
Yeah,
An
yeah.
absolute certainty. He had the majority, which it turned out, according to the authority, he hasn't. So we're all a bit confused at the moment. If something is decisive, it is definite. It's absolutely that.
Yeah. Exit polls showed that Gonzalez would win about 70% of the votes, which is decisive.
Yes.
그 decisive는 결정적이다, 아주 확실하다라는 뜻으로 압승을 할 것으로 보여졌다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. A decisive win. All right, so here's the headline again. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has won a third term. third term은 바로 이제 3선에 성공했다. 세 번째 임기에 들어가게 될 것이다. 이런 뜻이죠. According to the country's electoral authority, despite several exit polls, which have pointed to a decisive opposition win. Here's our next headline.
The iconic gold bikini-style costume that actress Carrie Fisher wore as Princess Leia in Star Wars Return of the Jedi has sold at auction for $175,000, or about 200 million won.
네. 레아 공주를 연기했던 고 캐리 피셔 배우가 스타워즈 에피소드 6 제다이의 귀환에서 입었던 황금색 비키니 의상이 17만 5천 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 2억 원에 낙찰됐습니다. Tell us more about this.
I wonder, does that now literally mean it's worth its weight in gold?
Maybe.
Maybe. It's sold for a lot of money. This was a big Hollywood auction with lots of expensive pieces. And I think Star Wars fans will remember this outfit. When Princess Leia was captured by Jabba the Hutt and Luke Skywalker had to go and rescue her, she was forced to wear this golden bikini.
Yeah.
And it became sort of the big image of that third film for her. That said, it was not just the bikini that was sold. There was a miniature aircraft from the very first Star Wars film, A New Hope, that sold for about 1.55 million US dollars, about 2.1 billion won. There were posters for Star Trek. There was Thor's hammer from Thor the Dark World, and even a Mandalorian helmet. Were all fetching tens or even hundreds of million of won.
네. 이 금색 비키니가 굉장히 아이코닉했어요.
Yes.
What's that?
And if something is iconic, meaning it's become a symbol, it's become symbolic, it's become representative of something. We talk about an icon, someone who we look up to, who we think is sort of the pinnacle of whatever field they're in. And when it comes to an item like a guitar or a costume or a prop of some kind, we can call it iconic too.
네, 그렇죠. 아이코닉이라는 것은 기억에 남는다라는 의미가 될 수도 있습니다. 그래서 사실 이 스타워즈 시리즈 중에서 가장 사람들이 많이 기억하는 의상 중에 하나가 이 금색 비키니라고 해요. 근데 엄밀히 말하자면 비키니는 아니고 비키니 스타일 커스튬입니다. 왜냐면 밑에는 약간 치마처럼 이렇게 천도 붙어 있고
It's also
그다음에-
made of metal, it
맞아요.
seemed.
그렇죠. 이게 그 쇠로 만들었는지 재질 자체가 천이 아니더라고요.
네.
그래서 그때 어떻게 입었을까 싶은데
I would not advise wearing it to the beach.
No, it's iconic. 자, 그다음에 it sold at auction or it went under the hammer.
Meaning it's sold at an organised event where people are allowed to bid a
Yeah.
price for it, and the highest bidder will win the auction.
네, 경매에 붙여졌다는 뜻이죠. 그래서 경매에 나와서 낙찰이 됐다. It sold at auction for $175,000. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The iconic gold bikini-style costume that actress Carrie Fisher wore as Princess Leia in Star Wars Return of the Jedi has sold at auction for $175,000 or about 200 million won. Here's our last headline.
K-pop boy group Stray Kids has claimed its fifth number one on the US Billboard's main albums chart with its latest EP, 8.
네, 그룹 Stray Kids가 새 미니 앨범 8로 미국 빌보드 메인 앨범 차트에서 5번째 1위를 기록했습니다. So it's ATE, 8, right?
Yes, I always get confused over album names. But yeah, it's a big hit for them. It's their fifth number one after Ordinary, Maxident, 5-Star and Rockstar. And they sold 232,000 equivalent album units. And that's the most sold in a single week for 2024 for any K-pop album. It's also the sixth biggest debut for any album this year. So
it?
it's a big, big hit. And these are the most popular albums in America in the week, the Billboard 200. It's also the 25th mostly non-English language album to hit number one in the States. And it's also the second of 2024. So it's a big hit for them. Congratulations to Stray Kids. Stray Kids, even.
Stray Kids.
Stray Kids stay at number one, please.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they've claimed their fifth number one title.
Yes, so if you claim something in this case, it means you get it, you win it, you have captured it. But it can also mean if you claim something, you say it's true.
그렇죠. 주장하다라는 뜻도 있고요. 차지하다라는 뜻도 있습니다. 그래서 5번째 1위를 기록했다는 건데 그 타이틀을 차지했다.
네.
이렇게 보시면 되겠습니다. And this is their latest album we're talking about here.
Yeah, meaning it's the most recent, it's the one that's come out most recently.
네, 그렇죠. 가장 최근에 나온 거, the latest album이라고 부를 수 있습니다. So, Billboard 200에 이렇게 1위를 차지한 그 8라는 새 미니 앨범 얘기예요. That's the latest album. Well, here's the headline again. K-pop boy group Stray Kids has claimed its fifth number one on the US Billboard's main albums chart with its latest EP, 8. Well, that's it for today's headlines.
The monsoon season has ended in Korea, according to the weather agency, as the country comes under the influence of a strong subtropical front.
네, 기상청은 우리나라가 아열대 고기압의 영향을 받으면서 사실상 올해 장마가 종료됐다고 분석했습니다. 네, 27일을 기점으로 사실상 우리나라 이제 장마철은 끝났다 이렇게 보고 있는 것 같고요. 그리고 현재는 이제 아열대 고기압의 영향을 받고 있다. 그 얘기가 무슨 얘기일까요? Tell us more.
Yeah, well, if you thought this year's rainy season was long, you are absolutely correct. The facts back it up. According to the weather agency here, if you look at the numbers, this year's monsoon season lasted over 1 month, so 31.5 days to be exact in Seoul, Incheon, and the surrounding regions, including Gangwon province. Down in the southern regions, 31.4 days, slightly lower. Jeju, 32.4 days. But the exact length will be calculated and announced in September.
Right.
But as far as the rainfall, the average rainfall across the monsoon season this year was 472 millimeters, which is 30% higher than the average between 1991 and 2020. So it was significantly higher, 30% 100% to be exact. And gone with the rains and the monsoons, now, of course, comes the tropical nights.
Yes,
And the
exactly.
sleepless nights for many.
And the super tropical nights as well. So we had the story yesterday, I think it was, where, tropical nights refer to evenings that are above 25 degrees.
Yes.
And super tropical nights are above 30 degrees.
Okay.
And we saw parts of Gangwon already witnessing and experiencing these super tropical nights. And they say it's the first time that it's happened in July.
Okay.
So it's hotter for longer too.
Yeah, pretty soon, at this rate, we're going to have to come up with new categories. So what's after 35 degrees, it has to be super
My
tropical.
goodness. Yeah, exactly. 그렇습니다.
But you're absolutely right. 25 degrees or Celsius or higher between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. the next day is technically what we define as a tropical night.
Right. And the heat wave will obviously continue to be seen across the country.
With no end in sight.
아, 그렇습니다. 네, 일단은 지금 맨 처음에 이제 장마 얘기를 해주셨는데 굉장히 긴 장마철이었습니다. 대체적으로 한 31일 정도의 장마철 겪었고요, 전국적으로. 그다음에는 이제는 이제 비가 그치긴 했지만 그렇다고 해서 뭐 비가 아예 안 올 것이다 이건 아니고 또 비가 올 수도 있지만 네, 뭐 간간히 올 수는 있습니다만 지금 이제 제일 걱정스러운 것은 열대야 그리고 초열대야 그다음에는 폭염입니다. 35도 이상의 폭염과 이 30도 이상의 온도를 기록하는 초열대야.
Because there is an official definition of what a monsoon is. It's a monsoon front that affects the region, not just here in Asia, but all over the world. It's the rainy phase of a seasonally changing pattern because there is a dry phase to that monsoon season. And it's colloquially, it's just used to define just a very a long-term period of rain that comes. We'll just call it the monsoon. And when something's a season, of course, it's a period of the year that's characterized by or associated with a particular activity or phenomenon. Like you can say tourist season during the summer, hunting season. The year end is known as the holiday season, but we just finished the monsoon season.
monsoon season 하면은 장마철을 말합니다. And if you're under the influence of something, what does that mean?
It means you're affected by something. A foreign government can influence something. Gravitational pull, the earth is influenced by the sun. Influence is basically power or authority or clout over something or someone.
네. Driving under the influence라는 표현에도 이 표현이 들어가는데
That's a common expression known as
Right.
drunk driving, right?
맞습니다. DUI라고 해서 driving under the influence라고 하면은 영향을 받고 운전하다. 근데 무슨 영향이냐면 보통 이제 술, 서양에서는 뭐 조금 더 폭넓게 보고 있죠. 그래서 마약도 포함이 되는데 어쨌든 음주운전을 DUI라고 표현을 해요. 여기서 말하는 under the influence of a high pressure front,
Yep.
subtropical high pressure front였죠. 그래서 여기서 말하는 거는 아열대 고기압의 영향을 받아서 이제 앞으로는 후텁지근한 그런 날씨가 계속 이어지겠습니다. Here's the headline again. The monsoon season has ended in Korea, according to the weather agency, as the country comes under the influence of a strong subtropical front. Here's our next headline.
Dairy farmers and businesses have reached an agreement to freeze the price of raw milk to alleviate the public burden amid ongoing inflation, according to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs.
낙농가와 유업계는 지속적인 물가 상승에 따른 국민 부담을 완화하기 위해 우유 원유 가격을 동결하기로 합의했다고 농림축산식품부가 밝혔습니다. There had been talks to raise
Yeah.
the cost or the fees, and they decided in the end not to do so. So tell us more about that.
Yep. So, the price of milk or other dairy products is very important because milk and dairy products are a staple. They're raw materials that are used in many of the foods that we eat, from breads to other things, among others. But an agreement has been reached between, like the headline said, between businesses and dairy farmers to fix the price of raw milk at 1,084 won per liter starting August 1st, tomorrow, in fact. And that includes the price of milk used to make processed foods, like I said, cheeses and powders. Those will be reduced by 5 won. And if you look at other data compiled by Statistics Korea, the production cost of milk has actually increased. So this follows a trend of raw materials, consumer prices all going up. But consumer prices have actually slowed. The rate of increase has slowed compared to the price of other agriculture, livestock, and fisheries products.
여기서 말하는 raw milk, the price of raw milk라는 것이 우유 원유값입니다.
Yes.
이 가격을 인상하려고 하는 그런 디스커션이 있었지만 결국은 이게 국민들에게 굉장히 큰 부담이 될 것이다라는 결론에 도달해서 올리지 않기로 했습니다. 그래서 이제 동결했다라는 뜻이 되겠고요. 이 우유 원유가 들어가는 게 우리가 보통 생각하는 흰 우유에 그 이제 우유 원유가 들어가고요. 그다음에 참고로 치즈나 분유 같은 경우에는 가공유 원유가 들어간다고 합니다. 그 가공유 원유의 가격은 또 조금 떨어졌다고
Yes.
네, 하셨고요. alleviate라는 표현 보겠습니다.
Yeah, when you alleviate something, you're relieving or lessening something. You're making it more bearable, but you can also be removing or correcting something. You know, pain is the first thing you think about. You know, if you have a headache, you alleviate it by taking some medication, perhaps.
그렇죠. 고통을 완화할 때도 alleviate pain 이렇게 얘기를 합니다. 무언가를 완화하다. In this case, we're talking about alleviating the public burden. 국민들에게 있는 그 가격 부담. 그거를 좀 없애기 위해서, 줄이기 위해서 가격 인상을 하지 않기로 했습니다. This is all amid the ongoing inflation.
Yeah, if something's ongoing, it's in process or in progress. It's continuing. So, like I said, there's a trend that prices are going up, which means inflation.
네, 그렇습니다. 계속 진행 중이다라는 뜻인데요. 지금 물가 상승이 계속 진행 중이죠. 물가가 오르는 가운데 더 이상의 우유 원유 가격 인상은 그러니까 더 이상의 뭐 가격 인상은 우리가 이제 이런 부담을 줄 필요가 없겠다 싶어서 원유 가격을 동결하기로 했다는 소식이고요. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Dairy farmers and businesses have reached an agreement to freeze the price of raw milk to alleviate the public burden amid ongoing inflation, according to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs.
The US, the UK, Germany, and France have issued travel warnings to their citizens, calling on them to leave Lebanon or avoid travel there in a frantic diplomatic push to deter Israel from striking Beirut in response to a deadly rocket attack on the Golan Heights.
골란고원에서 발생한 치명적인 로켓 폭격에 대응하여 이스라엘이 베이루트를 공격하는 것을 막기 위한 외교적 노력의 일환으로 미국, 영국, 독일과 프랑스는 레바논 주재 자국민들에게 레바논을 떠나고 여행하지 말 것을 권고했습니다. 자, 밤사이에 업데이트가 있었습니다. 이 뉴스가 나왔던 어제만 해도요. 이스라엘이 베이루트를 공격할 수도 있으니 그래서 베이루트를 비롯한 레바논을 떠나라라는 이제 여러 서방 국가들의 권고가 있었는데요. 밤사이에 이스라엘이 베이루트를 공격했습니다.
Yes, so it is a breaking situation here.
네.
It's ongoing, and it does seem that Israel, just hours ago, in fact, this news coming out, that Israel did in fact retaliate to that deadly strike on the Golan Heights that unfortunately killed 12 children, over the weekend. The U.S. and Israel are blaming Hezbollah on this attack. And based on Israel's most recent actions, it's Hezbollah's most senior military commander has been killed. So, the worry is, the concern is, of course, we know the Israel-Gaza situation, but with Hamas. But the worry and concern is that this will become a more regional-wide sort of conflict and will expand throughout the region for a regional war.
네, 그렇습니다. 그러니까 앞서서 골란고원에 그 로켓 폭격이 있었습니다. So that particular strike was from Lebanon?
Yes. So Hezbollah is a political militant group based in Lebanon. And so these strikes went by Israel, targeted the southern part of Lebanon. And like I said, killed their most senior military commander, reportedly. And it was in retaliation because these strikes from Hezbollah came from Lebanon, yes.
네, 그렇습니다. 레바논을 기지로 하고 있는 무장 단체라고 얘기를 하면 되겠죠.
They are a
헤즈볼라.
political group, though, in fact, too.
political group too. 네, 정치적인 그룹이기도 한데 그 헤즈볼라가 지금 가장 최근에 있었던 공격의 배후에 있다고 합니다. 앞서서 이제 이스라엘 골란 고원에 이제 레바논 측에서 폭격을 가한 것으로 이렇게 파악이 되고 있고 그것에 대한 보복으로 이스라엘이 베이루트에 공격을 가한 겁니다. 근데 그 공격이 있기 전에 지금 얘기한 미국과 영국과 독일 그리고 프랑스가 이스라엘이 베이루트 공격할 수도 있겠다.
Yeah.
그러니 이제 자국민들에게 출국해라라고 권고를 한 거죠.
Yeah, it was a very out of control situation.
Yes.
Things were very frantic.
Frantic, what does that mean?
If something's frantic, it's emotionally out of control, perhaps.
Yes.
It's when things are fast and nervous, disorderly. That's what we would say is frantic.
네.
Sort of like every morning here before the show.
A little bit. 자, 그래서 이 출국 권고가 나갔을 당시의 그 상황이요. 굉장히 정신없이 빠르게 움직이는 그런 상황이었습니다. 그런 거를 영어로는 frantic라고 표현을 합니다. F-R-A-N-T-I-C. 정신없이 빠르게 움직이는 상황이 되겠고요. And what they wanted to do, of course, was deter any possible attacks from happening, although
Yeah.
that did not
Yeah, they
take
weren't
place.
successful in doing that, apparently. When you deter something, you're turning it aside, you're discouraging or preventing something from acting. Deterrence in legal terms is, warning a criminal, perhaps, or a potential criminal, or scaring them from carrying through with any sort of criminal act, with punishment.
네, 못하도록 하는, 저지하는 행동을 얘기합니다. Deter Israel from striking Beirut. 여러 외교적인 노력으로 이스라엘이 베이루트 공격을 안 하게끔 하려고 했으나 이게 실패로 돌아갔다고 할 수 있겠죠. 공격을 단행했습니다.
Yeah, in local news, you hear the term nuclear deterrence a lot as well in terms of the situation here on the Korean Peninsula.
Exactly, because we don't want any nuclear attacks to take place. Well, here's the headline again. The US, UK, Germany, and France have issued travel warnings to their citizens, calling on them to leave Lebanon or avoid travel there in a frantic diplomatic push to deter Israel from striking Beirut in response to a deadly rocket attack on the Golan Heights. Here's our next headline.
For the second time this year, temperature readings of more than 40 degrees Celsius have been recorded in Japan, prompting heat stroke warnings for almost all areas in the country.
네. 올해 들어 두 번째로 일본에서 섭씨 40도 이상의 기온이 기록되면서 일본 내 거의 모든 지역에 열사병 경보가 발령됐습니다. 40 degrees.
Yeah, so following a reading of 40 degrees back on July 7th in Japan, just this Monday, a couple of days ago, Sano, Tochigi Prefecture, hit 41 degrees at 2 p.m. on during midday on Monday. And like the headline said, it's the second time this year. And in response, weather authorities in Japan have issued heat stroke warnings for basically the entire country. And, I don't think Korea has hit 40 degrees Celsius.
I don't believe
this season.
so,
Correct
right.
us if we're wrong here, but this is just another sign of the concern over changing climate patterns
Yeah.
across the world.
And there's a
it looks
direct
like-
concern on South Korea's part because
Sure.
a lot of Korean tourists are visiting Japan right now.
Yep.
So they might want to keep this in account. If they are actually planning on going to Japan, it's extremely hot there
Yeah.
right now.
Because heat stroke, the ways you prevent yourself from suffering from heat stroke is to stay hydrated. Obviously, try to stay out of the direct sun. Find some shade and limit your activities to other parts of the day. Aside from between, let's say, 11 and 4 p.m.
Exactly. Okay, what's a temperature reading, Shane?
Yeah, when a reading is just information or data indicated by some sort of instrument, like a thermometer would give you a temperature reading. A blood pressure monitor would give you your blood pressure reading.
Right.
If you're into tarot cards, it'll give you your fortune. It'll give you a reading of your future, perhaps. So basically, an instrument that gives you some sort of information.
그렇습니다. 이게 수치라는 뜻의 reading이 될 수도 있고요. 이제 타로 카드 같은 경우에는 타로 카드에 나와 있는 뭐 운명에 대한 정보라든지 이런 것들도 다 reading이라고 볼 수 있는데 reading이라는 이 명사는 거기에 나와 있는 정보라는 의미라고 보시면 돼요. 폭넓게 봤을 때는. 자, 그렇다면 temperature readings는 한마디로 그냥 기온입니다.
Right.
네. 자, 그다음에 warnings는 뭐 경고 이런 뜻도 되겠지만 여기서는 어떤 경보가 되겠죠.
Yeah, it's an alert to the public of a hazard or some sort of danger. And I'm looking at the weather agency site here in Korea. It looks like entire country under heat wave warnings and advisories at the moment.
네, 그렇습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. For the second time this year, temperature readings of more than 40 degrees Celsius have been recorded in Japan, prompting heat stroke warnings for almost all areas in the country. Okay, let's move on to our final headline.
China's Yangtze River is experiencing its third flood of the year, and an emergency response to floods has been activated for the Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region in anticipation of severe rainfall and potential flooding.
네, 중국 양쯔강은 올해 들어 세 번째 홍수를 겪고 있으며 베이징, 텐진, 허베이 지역에 폭우와 홍수 가능성이 예상됨에 따라 홍수에 대한 비상 대응이 발령됐습니다. So this is apparently in the aftermath, I guess, of the typhoon Kemi
Yes.
that's been sweeping across this region.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Typhoon Kemi has been very destructive, probably the first destructive typhoon of the season in the region, starting down in the Philippines, moving up into Taiwan and into mainland China. It's the third flood warning, like the headline had said, in this region of China. It came as water levels there reached a warning level of 32.5 meters as of Monday afternoon. Relief efforts have been deployed to this region. Meanwhile, the ministry in China there that takes care of this sort of situation activated a third level emergency response to floods in Hunan and a fourth level emergency response to floods in the provinces of Jiangsu, Anhui, and Jiangxi, while sending work teams and experts there to provide guidance on preventing floods.
Exactly. The name Yangtze River, by the way, in English we do just say Yangtze River, but apparently in China they call it Changjiang, I think it is. So they use it a different
Yeah.
name. So you might see Korean articles say Changjiang, which is Yangtzegang. Same thing, but just a different name.
Is that from the Chinese characters?
Yes, I
of
believe so.
Okay.
네, 네. 그렇더라고요.
It's like Bukgyong and Beijing, I imagine.
한자 자체가 좀 다르던데요. 예,
Okay.
양쯔강이라고 우리가 흔히 부르긴 하는데 중국에서는 이거를 이제 길장 그다음에 이제 강자를 써가지고
Okay.
장강이 되겠죠. 우리식으로 하자면은 그렇게 부르는 것 같습니다. 그래서 중국식으로는 이제 창장이라고도 합니다.
It's all Greek to me. So.
야, 자, 그래요. 근데 지금 벌써 세 번째 홍수를 겪고 있다는 거, 네, 상당히 우려스럽습니다. It says here that an emergency response has been activated.
Yeah, when you activate something, you make it active, or it's characterized by some sort of action.
Yeah.
You're initiating or putting something into motion. When you buy a new phone, you can't use it immediately out of the box. You need to activate it.
그러네요. 네, 활성화시킨다라는 뜻이 있죠. To activate something. 네, 여기서는 어떤 그 비상 대응 체제 그게 발령이 됐다라고
Yes.
볼 수 있을 것 같고요. 그 다음에는 in anticipation of something.
Yeah, you're predicting something or you're getting ready for something. There's a chance or expectation of something happening.
그래요. 무언가를 예상하고라는 뜻입니다. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. China's Yangtze River is experiencing its third flood of the year, and an emergency response to floods has been activated for the Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region in anticipation of severe rainfall and potential flooding. Well, that's it for today's headlines with Shane Harm.
A recent survey compiled by Statistics Korea shows that nearly 70% of senior citizens aged 55 to 79 want to remain financially active.
통계청의 최근 조사에 따르면 55에서 79세의 고령층 인구 중 약 70%는 계속 경제 활동을 하기를 희망하는 것으로 조사됐습니다. Okay, tell us more.
Well, first off, in the headline, the phrase "financially active" that was a little bit confusing to me. Actually, it's
They
not
want
really a
to be-
phrase I've heard before.
I want to be working?
Yeah,
then?
economically active might
Okay.
make a little more sense. And
Ah.
different articles in
Right.
English said it that way. So I think that
okay.
makes a little bit more sense.
Got
Because
it.
what does financially active really mean? We all still, still
I
pay
see.
for things,
So
I guess.
Economically active would be a more natural way of saying
I
that.
would
then.
say that would
Okay.
make more sense,
Okay.
meaning to continue to work.
Got it.
So according to this survey, over 11 million people in that age bracket, the 55 to 79, said they want to continue working, and that's up nearly 500,000 from a year ago. So this figure says that 70% of the country's elderly that is 70% of the country's elderly population.
Yeah.
Now, the top reasons for wanting to work, 55% of the respondents said to help with living expenses. And this was interesting. 35% said to experience the joy of working.
Exactly. The 55 to 79-year-old age bracket accounts for roughly 16 million people in Korea. So, I mean, it's a known fact that we're an aging
Right.
country. More and more people are entering that bracket and they want to continue to earn money, basically.
Yeah, that's right. So from that age bracket, 93% who are currently employed said they want to continue working. And those who are unemployed, 36% said they would like to work. So almost more than a third who
Right,
aren't
right.
working would like to rejoin the workforce.
Well, this data was compiled by Statistics Korea. I mean, when we talk about data, we often hear the verb compile. What does that mean?
So that's when different data sources are collected or gathered and then put into one report or a publication.
네, 데이터를 모아서 편집해서 이렇게 보고서를 만들 때 보통은 compile data 아니면 the survey was compiled 라고 할 수 있습니다. 그래서 데이터를 모으고 편집하는 것을 compiling 한다고 하고요. And as you said, a lot of people in this senior citizen age bracket, they want to remain economically active. Let's talk about active.
Just being active in general just means to be involved in some type of activity. If you talk about just being a person who is active, it means they do a lot of things. They take part in a lot of activities, or they like to exercise, perhaps.
You're a very active person,
Sometimes.
aren't you?
Sometimes.
Yeah. 그래요. Volcanoes can be active too.
Sure.
자, 활동적이다라는 뜻이죠. 사람한테 쓸 땐 그렇고요. 이제 화산이면은 활화산이다, an active volcano 이렇게 얘기할 수 있습니다.
A lot of times you'll hear about people who are very active online. If they post a lot of things.
아, 그러네요. 소셜 미디어 많이 쓰는 사람도 this person is active online이라고 할 수 있네요. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A recent survey compiled by Statistics Korea shows that nearly 70% of senior citizens aged 55 to 79 want to remain financially active. All right, here's our next headline.
Exports of South Korean passenger cars reached a record high in the second quarter of this year on solid demand from the US and Canada, according to the Korea Customs Service.
관세청은 지난 2분기 한국산 승용차 수출액이 미국과 캐나다의 수요가 회복되면서 사상 최대치를 기록했다고 밝혔습니다. Tell us more.
So we're looking at the second quarter, so that is April to June, the April to June period. Exports of Korean cars were up 6.8% compared to the same period last year, and this marked the highest quarterly figure ever and the 9th consecutive quarterly growth.
So I would imagine more gasoline cars were exported.
Why would you imagine that?
Because-
you read it in the article?
Well,
I would have
no.
thought the opposite, actually.
No, well, I've been hearing stories that eco-friendly cars are less popular in America than they are elsewhere in the world.
Okay. Yeah,
Tell
I
us
would have
about
thought
that.
I was kind of surprised by that stat, actually.
Yeah.
But yes, so they were saying that the outbound shipments mainly were mid and large size petrol cars or gasoline cars, and the value of eco-friendly cars actually went down slightly. And by destination, we mentioned here the U.S. and Canada in the headline. Exports to the U.S. were up 33%. And Canada was up almost 15%, 14.6%. Australia came in third. A lot of exports to Australia as well, 8.8%.
네, 미국과 캐나다로 수출하는 우리나라 승용차가 더 늘었다는 얘긴데요. break it down을 좀 하면은 세세하게 살펴보면은 휘발유차가 좀 더 많이 팔렸다는 것을 알 수 있습니다. 자, passenger car가 뭘까요?
Yeah, passenger cars. This is. I had to look up the definition, but the actual definition is any car that's designed to carry fewer than 10 people.
Okay.
So I guess like a van would still be considered, like a minivan would still be considered a passenger car.
그렇군요. 10인승 이하면은 승용차라고 부르는군요. 자, 승용차 passenger car라고 합니다. 그리고 이제 driver seat 옆에 있는 조수석 또 영어로는 passenger seat라고 합니다. 자, 그 다음에는요, solid demand.
Anytime we say something is solid, usually we're talking, something, a liquid or a solid, you'll hear that. But in this case, if you say somebody is like we'll use this in sports a lot, a solid player, it means they're good.
Yep.
So in this case, solid demand just means strong demand. People want to buy South Korean cars.
Yep, absolutely. 자, 여기서 말하는 solid라는 거는 견고하다라는 단어에서 왔기 때문에 상당히 많이 사람들이 원한다. 뒤에 나오는 demand는 수요죠. 그 수요가 굉장히 단단하다, 크다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다.
The opposite, you might hear weak demand.
Yep. Exactly. 네, 약한 수요. 이렇게 또 반대말도 같이 알아두면 좋겠네요. Now here's the headline again. Exports of South Korean passenger cars reached a record high in the second quarter of this year on solid demand from the US and Canada, according to the Korea Customs Service.
Officials in India have launched rescue operations in the country's southern Kerala state after heavy monsoon rains triggered deadly landslides that swept through homes and stranded hundreds of people.
인도 남부 케릴라주에서 몬순 우기 폭우로 인한 대형 산사태가 발생하여 주택이 휩쓸리고 수백 명이 고립되면서 인도 당국이 구조 작업에 착수했습니다. Okay, well, I've seen pictures of the landslides, and it's devastating. Tell us
Sure
more.
is. From what I read yesterday, they're saying the death toll has already surpassed 150. Could be high, likely is higher than that. Many of whom, unfortunately, drowned. Authorities say, and they said casualties obviously were expected to rise after at least two landslides hit the Kerala State's northeastern district in the early hours of Tuesday. And one of the big things is rescue workers are facing treacherous conditions themselves, just trying to save people. But from what was posted on X on Wednesday from the Indian Army, they said at least 1,000 people had been rescued so far. So, I think we need to sort of really give a shout out to the rescue operations there and the rescue workers, because that's, heavy rain. There's a lack of power as well. So they're doing a lot of this in the dark. There's destroyed bridges. Roads have been blocked. So it's,
They're doing the very best they can.
They're doing their very best in
despite
very
everything.
treacherous conditions.
그렇습니다. Very treacherous conditions. 정말
Dangerous
끔찍한 위험한 이 상황 속에서도 구조 작업이 계속 이어지고 있습니다. 사망자도 지금 속출하고 있는 상황인데 자, 표현 보겠습니다. Rescue operations, you just mentioned that, but
Sure.
that's the whole operation.
Right,
we're talking about.
actions that are taken to save people from danger. If you rescue someone, you save them from danger. So
Sure.
these operations, we mean different actions that a country or a military army would take.
맞습니다. 자, 여기서 말하는 rescue operations가 구조 작업이 되겠습니다. Search and rescue라고 하기도 하고요. 찾아서 구조를 해야 되니까. 그다음에 trigger something.
To cause something to start. So the heavy rains caused the landslides. The landslides wouldn't have happened if there hadn't been the heavy rain.
그렇죠. trigger는 무언가를 촉발시킨다라는 뜻입니다. Here's the headline again. Officials in India have launched rescue operations in the country's southern Kerala state after heavy monsoon rains triggered deadly landslides and that swept through homes and stranded hundreds of people. Let's move on to the next headline.
Divers have discovered a 19th century shipwreck off the Swedish coast, loaded to the brim with unopened champagne bottles that could have been destined for a Russian czar.
네. 자, 이번 헤드라인은 이제 다이버들이 스웨덴 해안에서 러시아 차르에게 향했을 수도 있는 미개봉 샴페인병이 가득 실린 19세기 난파선을 발견했다는 소식입니다. 이 차르라는 것은 러시아의 황제를 얘기합니다. The Emperor of Russia at the time was maybe expecting these lovely champagne bottles to arrive. We don't know
Yeah.
for sure, but that could be what happened?
Yeah, not only champagne bottles, there was also mineral water, which this is where they, and also porcelain, they said. So
Yep.
this was found by a Polish diving team. Now the clay bottles that had the water in it was made by a German company that's still in business. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so they're saying that because of the stamp on these clay bottles, they're saying that this shipment was produced between 1850 and 1867. Now, a thing about this mineral water is that back in those days, mineral water was treated like medicine, and they say it found its way to royal tables. Obviously, you had to be sort of in the royal class to be able to get that. And it was so precious back then that it was usually escorted by police. So there were 100 sealed bottles in this shipwreck. Now, the leader of this team, he told the BBC that he believes this treasure could have been destined for St. Petersburg on its
Russia.
way
Yep.
to right, exactly, on its way to Russia for Tsar Nicholas I, because in 1852 it was reported that he lost a ship in that area. So if we look at the time frame here of
Yeah.
it all sort of matches. That's why they're
does.
linking this to the Russian Tsar.
네, 자, 정말 신기하게도 이 샴페인 병과 그 다음에 미네랄 워터도 발견이 됐는데요. 그 병에 그 어느 회사에서 만들었는지, 그 다음에 이제 연도도 대략적으로 추정을 할 수 있는 마킹들이 아직 남아있다고 합니다. 그래서 추정하건대 1850년부터 1867년 사이에 만들어진 그런 샴페인이나 미네랄 워터였을 것이다. 특히 그 당시에는요, 미네랄 워터는 아무나 마시는 게 아니었대요. 정말 귀족, 왕, 황제 이런 분들의 테이블 위에 올라가는 거였다고 하는데, 또 마침 그때 러시아의 차르, 그 황제인 니콜라스 I가 1852년경에 배를 한 척 잃었다라는 기록이 별도로 있답니다. 그럼 그 배가 이 배가 아닐까? 이렇게 지금 연결고리가 지어지는 것 같아요. Wow. Just imagine. How long has it been since the 1850s? I can't do the math, but
150 years?
Yeah, right. A long,
If
long
not
time.
more, 170?
Yeah. And they found around 100 bottles. That's amazing.
Yeah, and and I think what they're wondering is, can this wine? Can people drink it?
Yeah,
Because,
because
like,
wine gets better over time, right?
right. Like it's not the oldest wine that's ever been, or champagne that's ever been found.
그러게요. 일단은 요거를 하나하나 조심스럽게 꺼내야겠지만 혹시 지금도 마실 수 있지 않을까 하는 그런 질문들도 나오고 있을 법하네요. 자, 표현 보겠습니다. The ship was filled to the brim with bottles.
Right, they're just making this.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
really, but that's kind of just an expression.
Yeah.
If something is loaded to the brim, usually we'll talk about cups.
Yes.
If you pour so much liquid into your cup, it's right to the top. That's the brim.
Exactly. 고의로 쓴 표현입니다. 원래 to the brim은 우리 잔 가득 차게 음료를 따랐을 때 정말 꼭대기까지 가득 차게 따르면 you fill your cup to the brim이라고 하는데요.
So the brim is the top edge of a container. Also on a
Exactly.
hat, the
Yeah.
brim is the front part that comes out.
네, 맞아요. 모자의 챙도 brim이라고 하는데.
Many baseball players will bend the
Yeah.
brim of their hat.
맞아요. 자, 그런데 여기서는 좀 비유적으로 이 배가 가득 차게 이 샴페인 병과 미네랄 워터 병으로 가득 차 있었다라는 표현을 쓰고 있습니다. The shipwreck was filled to the brim. Obviously a sort of figurative expression and
Right.
used deliberately, I think, because we're talking about things you drink.
Right, and they're trying to say how much. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, there you
yeah.
go. Right, they definitely did it that way. And also to emphasize how much there was.
Yes. It could have been destined for a Russian Tsar.
Sure. When we say destined for something, means that's where it's intended to go. So we talked in the first part about all the cars that have been shipped, Korean cars that have been shipped to the U.S. or
Yeah.
shipped to Canada, shipped to Australia. They might say, oh, this shipment is destined for the U.S. This shipment here is destined for Australia.
맞아요. They destined for 어디 아니면 누구누구라고 하면은 누구로 향해 어디를 향해서라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 우리가 차르라고 하는 이 황제라는 단어가 영어로는 za 이렇게 발음을 하고요. 스펠링도 두 가지가 있습니다. 하나는 T-S-A-R, 또 하나는 C-Z-A-R. 둘 다 똑같은 단어인데 이 스펠링이 좀 두 가지가 존재를 합니다. 그래서 어쩌면은 러시아 황제를 향해 가고 있었을지도 모르는 그런 좀 고급 샴페인과 미네랄 워터였을 것이다. 그게 한 100병 정도 발견이 됐습니다. 이 난파선에. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Divers have discovered a 19th century shipwreck of the Swedish coast loaded to the brim with unopened champagne bottles that could have been destined for a Russian Tsar. And here's our final headline.
Hordes of dragonflies have been filmed descending upon a beach in the U.S. state of Rhode Island, terrifying beachgoers.
미국 로드아일랜드 주의 한 해변에 잠자리떼가 내려와 해변을 찾는 사람들을 공포에 떨게 하는 장면이 촬영됐습니다. So, how many dragonflies are we talking about here?
Oh, hordes.
Tens? Hundreds? Thousands?
If you hear hordes of
Yeah.
something, it means a very, very large amount.
Yeah, I've seen pictures and they cover the sky.
It was insane. It looked
Yeah.
like like
plague
a
or
science fiction
something.
movie or something like that.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of them on the way here actually when I was walking here, but it wasn't. I wouldn't classify that as hordes. And because of what I read about them, I wasn't scared at all.
Okay.
So a dragonfly expert that was quoted in one of the articles I found said that normally this kind of swarm, this normally takes place during the typical migration period for dragonflies, which is between mid-August and mid-September. They relocate because of their habitats, like swamps and bogs dry up.
Okay.
But she's saying in this case, it probably just happened a little bit early this year. The big thing was, she said, is it doesn't, you don't have to be afraid of dragonflies. That dragonflies, they have excellent vision. So they're not going to fly into people's faces.
Yeah.
And one of the things is dragonflies are a very key part of the ecosystem. They eat mosquitoes, they eat other pests. They also serve as food for birds and even carnivorous plants.
Okay.
So in this area, there's some wetland areas in this area that we're in. So there'd be a lot of dragonflies around here.
Exactly. 네, 뭐 다행이라고 해야 될지. 유해한 곤충은 아니니까요. 뭐 사람을 공격한다든지 그러지는 않아서 다행이긴 합니다만 너무나 많은 이 잠자리떼가 갑자기 로드 아일랜드의 한 해변에 나타나서 사람들이 깜짝 놀랐다라는 거고요. 그러나 전문가들은 너무 두려워할 필요는 없다. 이동 시기가 조금 앞당겨진 것으로 그렇게 보여진다라고 합니다. 자, 굉장히 많을 때는요. lots of라고 할 수도 있겠지만 hordes of라는 표현도 쓸 수 있습니다.
Tons of something.
Yeah.
I'm sure, there's hordes of people now descending upon Paris for the Olympics.
아, 그렇죠. hordes of는 H-O-R-D-E-S 그다음에 of something 아주 많은 무엇이라는 뜻입니다.
And it's normally people or, in this case,
Animals,
animals,
yeah.
insects.
Exactly. And you also said a lot of people will be descending upon Paris. What's that?
When people, in this case, when I said people would be descending upon Paris, a large amount of people will arrive there. I
그래요.
think we did this word. I think we did this last week.
We
Descending on or
may
descending
have looked
upon.
at it before, but it's always useful to review these expressions.
A lot of the times, like in this context, it's when they say it descended upon the beach, tons of these dragonflies showed up and it was unexpected. In the case of, we're talking about the Olympics, they're expecting that.
Yeah.
They know a lot of people are going to descend upon it. But in this case, there's the nuance of it was unexpected.
Yeah, you can also say descend on
Right.
as well. Descend on이나 descend upon이나 다 마찬가지인데요. 어디에 도착하다라는 뜻입니다. descend라는 것 자체가 원래 위에서 아래로 내려온다는 뜻이 있기 때문에 마치 동시에 하늘에서 뚝 떨어진 것 같은 느낌도 있을 수 있어요. 갑자기 많은 사람들이 몰렸을 때도 쓸 수 있는 표현이다.
So a lot of people like hiking in Korea. So when you go up the mountain, you would be making your ascent.
Yes.
And when you come down the mountain, you're making your descent.
그렇죠. 이제 하산 또 descend 하는 것으로 표현할 수 있습니다. Here's the headline again. Hordes of dragonflies have been filmed descending upon a beach in the US state of Rhode Island, terrifying beachgoers.